Hey guys, today we're looking at finding rational zeros. So being able to list all of the possible zeros that exist. So then we can use that synthetic division or factoring or something else to find those zeros. So the method to finding those zeros is first to locate the constant. So the constant is the number that's by itself. Typically, it's the last number when you're writing it in that in order by degree, and then locate the leading coefficient, so the number in front of the highest degree exponent. The rational zero theorem then says to do P over Q and find all of the factors of the constant terms and all of the factors of that leading coefficient, and those are all of your options. So sometimes there can be quite a few, but it does help us to narrow down those options, and so we're not trying a million different things to get there. So our constant here is 8. So all of the factors of 8 would be 1, 2, 4, and 8. And then our leading coefficient is 3. So all of the factors of 3 are 1 and 3. Those are all of the things that we can multiply or divide evenly and get those answers or get those numbers back out. However, we can do the positives or negatives of any of those. So now, we're going to go ahead and write out every one of these combinations. So 1 divided by 1, we have plus or minus 1. 1 divided by 3, plus or minus 1/3. 2 divided by 1 is plus or minus 2. 2 divided by 3 is plus or minus 2/3. Then we have plus or minus 4 divided by 1, and then plus or minus 4/3. Then we have plus or minus 8 divided by 1, and then plus or minus 8/3. So instead of choosing from every possible option, we now have 16 different zeros that could be possible zeros of this function that we have here. So now, find the zeros of x to the third minus 4x squared minus 11x plus 30. So we have 30 as our constant, and then we have a 1 out front, which means we're going to be dividing by 1, which is really nice. So now all we're looking at then are all of our factors of 30. So 1 times 30 is 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 4 doesn't work, 5 times 6. So now we're wrapping back around 3 and 10, 2 and 15, and 1 and 30. So now here are all of our options, plus or minus of all of these. So you can test out a few different ones. We can try out a few different ones. We can hope that we get lucky and get to some of them. So let's try 1 here. So if I put 1 in as a 0, I have 1x cubed minus 4x squared minus, I don't need to put the x there. So minus 4, and then minus 11, and then positive 30. So then I'm going to bring down a 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. I get negative 14 times 1 is negative 14. I get 16 as my remainder. If it's a 0, I don't want a remainder, so I know that doesn't work. I'm going to try negative 1. So I have 1, bring it down, and then I have negative 4, I have negative 11, and I have 30. So 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, so that's a negative 5. Negative 1 times negative 5 is 5. That's a negative 6. Negative 1 times negative 6 is 6. So I get 36 here. That one doesn't work either. Let's try 2. So I have 1, negative 4, negative 11, and 30. So now, I'm bringing down 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 11 plus negative 4 is negative 15. 2 times negative 15 is negative 30. Oh, look, we get a 0. So that means if we found 2 is a 0, then we have x minus 2 is one of our factors. And then we have x squared minus 2x minus 15. Now, you can go ahead and use synthetic division again if you want to. But now that we're down to a quadratic, we could also try to factor this out. So 2 numbers that multiply to negative 15 that add up to negative 2 would be negative 5 and negative 3, or negative 5 and positive 3. So x minus 2, x minus 5, and x plus 3. So then our zeros would be x equals 2, 5, and negative 3 would be your 3 zeros. Notice all of those were possibilities up there because they're all rational zeros, but those were the ones that worked. This is our factored form. Okay, find the real zeros of 15x to the 4th minus 68x to the 3rd minus 7x squared plus 24x minus 4. So if we write this out, we have 4. So we can have plus or minus 1, 2, 4 is our numerator. We have 15. So 1, 3, 5, 15. That's a lot of combinations. We got lucky on our last example that we were able to find one within our 3rd try. If you are not confident, if there's a lot of examples, one thing you can do is turn to your graphing calculator and go ahead and just put into y1 15x to the 4th minus 68x to the 3rd minus 7x squared plus 24x minus 4 and see what comes up as a 0. So when I put that in my graphing calculator, one thing that I see that comes up when I calculate the 0 is a negative 2/3. Not sure that would have been one that I tried very quickly. So if I put a 15 here, negative 68 here, a negative 7, and then 24, and negative 4, I'm going to bring down the 15. So bring down 15. So 15 times negative 2/3 is going to be negative 10. So I have negative 78. Negative 78 times negative 2/3 is 52. And then negative 7 plus 52 is 45. Times negative 2/3 is a negative 30. So 24 plus negative 30 is negative 6. Times 2/3 is a positive 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So we are on the right track there. We found one of our zeros is negative 2/3. Another 0 that I found is 1/5. And you could have started with 1/5 if that was the first one you found. You don't have to start with your zeros in a certain order. But I'm going to continue down with this process. So I'm just going to use my results and keep going. So 15 comes down to the bottom. 15 times 1/5 is 3. And then negative 78 plus 3 is negative 75. Times 1/5 is negative 15. 45 plus negative 15 is 30. 30 times 1/5 is 6. And I get 0. So from there, I have 15x squared minus 75x plus 30. And notice I went down to x squared because we started at x to the 4th. The first time we divided out, we got down to x to the 3rd. The second time we divided out, our degree there was x to the 2nd. So now I see that they're all divisible by 15. So I can do x squared minus 5x plus 6. So, divide by 15 plus 2. Now, can I come up with something that multiplies to 2 and adds to negative 5? No, that's not going to work. So, what I would do then is probably try to do some quadratic formula. So, bringing in all kinds of our solving to help you review. Opposite of b would be 5, plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2 over 2 times 1. So 5 plus or minus, I have 25 minus 8, so that's 17 over 2. So that's not a rational 0. It's still a real 0, but it's not rational, which is why you don't see it in your options. That's only going to give you the rational options. So then our real zeros are negative 2/3, 1/5, and then 5 plus radical 17 over 2, and 5 minus radical 17 over 2. So those are your 4 zeros that we have in here. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you have questions, come in and see me. Otherwise, I'll see you in class.